open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
You know the saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, it's true for heart health, too. Sprinkling in a few small changes can make a big impact on your heart health. Try adding a vegetable to your dinner or no salt seasoning. Looking for support in making these changes? Join a workshop to learn more about a healthy lifestyle. Search Chronic Disease Nebraska for more details. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Strap up your headgear and try not to hit the mat too hard. This is Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning.
Facts don't lie. Wrestling is a pretty big deal in the Big Ten, so it's a pretty big deal to us.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by Stevens & Smith Construction. Here is your host, Mark Manning.
Boom! In your face. It is not Mark Manning. It's DP on Takedown Tuesdays on the Ticket. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Oh, man, it's a beautiful day in downtown Lincoln. Hope you're enjoying the weather. Hope you're in a good mood. Hope you are loving yourself and others today. You can follow us on all the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. You can, in fact, text in. The Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685 is how you do it. Hit us with a what up, and we will get your comments and questions into the conversation. Austin Norman, before we introduce our guests, let them know about our sponsor.
That would be Stevens & Smith Construction, who sponsors Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling. Stevens & Smith Construction is an employee-owned company with nearly 250 employees with over 2,000 years of service combined. Stevens & Smith leads the industry as a full-service concrete company. They specialize in residential and commercial foundations and flatwork. Locations in 3 Midwest cities, Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City. You can check them out at Stevens, STEPHENS, and Smith.com.
Sir, well done, well done. Last week, we were blessed with national champion Antrell Taylor. We hate to let you down, and once we set a standard, you got to just ride with the standard. You just got to stay stellar. You know, it's not like there's just another national champion just hanging around Lincoln, Nebraska. Oh, yes, there is. Let's welcome national champion. Have you changed your signature yet?
I did, yeah. So
he is the national champion, Ridge Lovett. What's happening with you?
What's good?
You've been all over the place. This is a busy stretch for you, man.
I have. The last 2 weeks, it's been a little bit of a grind.
Talk to me about what's going on, right? Like the final whistle happens. You get a really cool jacket. You get a really cool trophy. Then you get another trophy, and then
yeah, pretty much that's how it was going.
So what's been happening since we last saw you here at the Ticket?
Yeah, so since then, so I wasn't on last week, as we know. Antrell was holding it down.
Yes, sir.
Did a pretty good job from what I've heard.
Yes, sir.
And so when he was in here, I was actually in Pennsylvania taking a visit to the Lehigh University. I was offered a coaching job there to be on staff, be an assistant, and as well as be a part of their RTC and start pursuing those freestyle goals. So I was out there for 3 or 4 days, and happy to announce that I actually declined that job yesterday.
But why?
What you mean? Spurs by 90, baby. Let's go. We stay at home. Yeah. So I was talking with the coaches and decided that it would be best for me personally to put off coaching and to stay in Lincoln and train and pursue world teams and Olympic dreams.
That, we hear so many negative, selfish things about student athletes, scholar athletes, etc. And it always bothers me because I know that is the exception and not the rule. I know that most of the young people who commit to programs and commit to the work that's required to be a part of the program are exceptional people who are just trying to find their way and then trying to have enough. Not everything, but just enough. And here you are. I knew about the trip to Lehigh and I had my fingers crossed, my toes crossed. It's like, you know what? But ultimately we're rooting for the best for Ridge Lovett. And we know that that's not the only offer you're going to get. Mm-hmm. That's not even the only offer you're going to get to now. That's just where we are with it. But the fact that you think enough of, respect enough of this program, the people in it, and say, listen, if I'm going to chase these greater goals, Lincoln, Nebraska, University of Nebraska, under Mark Manning's watch is where I want to do it. Absolutely. Tell me why.
Well, so I went out there with an open mind because, coaching is what I want to do. Once I'm done competing, coaching, that I feel that's the next step for me in my evolution through my career. But, at the banquet, we played a video, and it had the video of me when we were at the Devaney after we got back doing a press conference, and they were like, why Nebraska? And I was just listening to myself talk about it, and I believed everything that I was saying, and I still hold all of it to be true. And that's why Nebraska. We have some of the best coaches in the world. The kids on my team, they're some of the best dudes I've ever met. They're some of my best friends. And it's like, I'm comfortable here. I found success here. I mean, you look up on the walls, we got Jordan Burroughs, James Green. Those are guys that just came through here. It was a few years ago, but they just came through. And, they were accomplishing things that I'm looking like those are my goals now. NCAA wrestling for me is over. I'm done. But world and Olympic teams are next. And this is a place that has been successful in those areas and have continued to find success with James Green last year being on the world team, and that's the weight that I want to wrestle. So I'm going to have the defending world team member as my practice partner at the same weight, and him, Trelly, Brock, and just all those dudes in the room getting to beat up on Coach Snyder a little bit. Like, how can I get away from that?
How does that change for you? Because I know that as a team leader and then being in the gym every day with them, there are times when you need to press iron, right? They say in most sports that iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that there's a greater example of that than wrestling. And then in that weight room, in that wrestling room, that you lean against some of the best to ever do it then and now, right? So there's a responsibility that not only do you have to be open to receiving from them, but you also have to challenge them. You have to lean against them. And oddly enough, everybody gets better for it.
Absolutely.
That's fascinating. It's special.
It's a big part of it, because it is an individual sport, but when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's almost the biggest team sport because your direct performance influences the outcome of the duel, outcome of the tournament. It's like if I go out there in a duel and I lose and I didn't wrestle well, I directly impact the scoreboard. If in football, like if I miss a tackle, well, hopefully one of the linebackers got me, right? But when you're out there, there's no one to save you, and that's when practice comes. That was a big thing for me is that when I would go out there, I was like, there's no person who's going to step on the mat in front of me that's going to be tougher than Antrell Taylor. No one's going to be tougher than Brock Hardy. No one's going to be tougher than James Green. Like, I have my hardest matches every single day in the room. So it's like, it kind of allows me to be free out there. Like, this dude has nothing on Trelly. He's got nothing on. He's not going to scramble better than Brock. This double, he's not going to come harder than Greasy, right? So it's like I felt that I was in a real good spot, and I'm happy here.
It it is fantastic just to know that you have that kind of environment. And there are people that say that, well, athletes should be grateful for opportunity. All true, right? You're one of one. You're in the top nth percentile of humans who get the opportunity to go to college, have it be paid for, in whatever bit and parcel that is, and then to be around the people you're entitled to be around. But there's an investment that happens before you get here, and then there's an investment that's done in the dark when the people who come cheer for you at Devaney don't know. They don't get to see all the sacrifices you made, all of the commitment that you make, all the individual battles and team battles, because you have to make decisions for teammates. You have to make decisions for the whole team. And I think that's missed. So what's the thing most that you want listeners to know that, you know what, when you think about student athletes, just consider this one thing before you criticize?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is social media, right? There's this big mantra with like Nebraska nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when we don't perform well, Nebraska nice goes out the window.
Say that.
Social
again.
media can
Say
be ruthless.
that, bro. Say that. Like we try to tell people this. So stay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I remember last year at nationals, I made a poor decision in the semis. I chose top. Probably should have went down, but it didn't work out. Whatever. And the fans were getting after me. I couldn't sleep, and I was up all night, and I was just replaying the decision over and over in my head in the match. And then I made the worst decision I could have made, and I opened up my phone. Went on my phone, clicked on Twitter or X, I guess, and it was people from other fan bases, people from Nebraska. I was like, dang, bro, they're eating me up. Eating me up.
Does that serve as nutrition and fuel for the victory in Philly?
Absolutely. I kept my receipts. I have all the screenshots. All of them. I almost made a post coming back with it, but I was like, you know what? My trophy speaks for itself. I don't even have to say anything.
You really don't. You really don't. And it was interesting that when in the presser immediately following your match, and then in the presser when we got back to UNL, normally, and Austin can vouch for this, that I generally stay out of those spaces because I tend to want to ask different kind of questions than the pool, right? And I would think that time spent with you allowed me to ask you a question that you wanted to give the answer to. Literally in that space, I said, why Nebraska? Because I know that as much as you were celebrating an individual victory, that you were so proud of what it said about Mark Manning, Nebraska wrestling, and the University of Nebraska.
Yeah, a lot of the social media stuff that's pretty negative comes on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook a lot.
No.
I was a little bit when I was in like middle school and stuff.
Yeah.
But so my dad tells me some of the stuff that's on there, and they come after the coaches like crazy on there. But I mean, at that press conference, it was, we had the greatest season, the greatest postseason Nebraska's ever had. 117 points. I think. So I just saw a picture that Flo posted on Twitter. It was a little graphic, and it was going through our postseason.
Crazy.
Since I think it was 2007, our score would have won 5 national titles. That score would have won 5. Kudos to Penn State. They put together a run. They had their team's tough. Them boys were tough. They can scrap. But we would have won 5 national titles since 2007. It was the second time we've ever had 3 in the finals. The other one was in the 70s. First time with 2 national champs since Bill and Jim Scher in the 80s. First time ever with 8 All-Americans. And I saw another post. It was 8 different states, 8 All-Americans from 8 different states.
See, that's where I wanted to go, was that there are pockets of the country where collegiate wrestling, freestyle wrestling, hold a greater value and meaning. But something has happened in that space right down the road here, that under Mark Manning, that it doesn't matter where you're from. It's who you are. And are you willing to be a part of this greater thing at the level that Nebraska wrestling wants to be. I don't know that that's not on purpose. That he took some of the best from 8 different states and turned them into All-American.
Absolutely. It's incredible. In our lineup, we had, so with our 10 guys, the starters, 9 of them were from different states. We had 9 states represented in our 10 matches. We had 2 from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, you know,
my boy Len,
yeah,
and Van D.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's Idaho, Florida, North Carolina, Oklahoma. Like, it's all over the place. All over the place.
We are with national champion Ridge Lovett, and talking about after this thing happens, and there was a moment that, first of all, I'll say it because I've been asked on social media, did you and I plan our engagement interaction immediately following? And I'm like, first of all, no. No. Ridge was coming through after the match, and you're celebrating with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And you have high-level smack talk.
Yeah.
And then you broke it, and you said, well, first of all, you know, Dannon's going to need to expand the All-America wall. We're going to make you build a new wall. And I turned the corner, and we locked eyes, and immediately a thing happened, and you start screaming. And we both forgot that other people were recording our moment.
Oh, I didn't care. Didn't care. Not even a little bit.
It was awesome. And everyone's like, did you plan that? No.
Right
They asked,
place, right time.
right? Like they asked about, Trelly comes out after the semifinal, because I saw him before the semifinal, and he was literally emotionally busting through the wall that he was going to have to break through to win the semifinal. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the semifinal was a bigger win for him than the national. Because
I'd agree.
Right? Like that was the matchup that in his head, he was just like, this will tell me everything I need to know about me.
Yeah, because Trelly was 0-3 against him.
Right?
Against Shapiro.
Right? And then he came, and I'm like, I kept whispering him before, you're a bad man. Don't forget, you're a bad man. Don't give that dude credit. You're a bad man. And so when he came out, I just screamed it. And of course, cameras everywhere, so you got to be careful about what you say. But I think it's a huge thing, right? That you ran to him, he ran to you. You ran to Brock, Brock ran to you. This team loves each other. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but love is the right word to use.
Absolutely. I mean, like you gain a bond when you wake up, and every single day, the first thing you do is go up into that hot padded room and fight. And that's what you do. You go in there and you fight every day. Some days are more intense than others, but the gist of it is you go in there and you scrap. You're going to go in there, you're going to fight for an hour and a half, 2 hours, do some hard conditioning, going to have to get on the bikes, going to have to get on the ropes, all this while managing your weight a little bit. Everybody's grumpy. Like when you're in there fighting together every single day, like me and my boys, we're tight. We grow tight.
It has been an interesting trip because you came back Saturday and you were talking about the places you've been and the people that you've seen. What's the response away from Lincoln, away from Nebraska?
Yeah. So after I got back from Lehigh, came back and then landed about 10 o'clock at night. So I was I was doing like a showing at Adidas Nationals in Kansas City. And so I was talking with the Adidas guys a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, hey, like, can you come out and do this? We're like, yeah, that'll be perfect money. That'll work. And then Manning posted that our banquet was going to be right smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I had to call those guys. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do the clinic the second night. Like, I'm going to have to come back to Lincoln, whatever. They're like, okay, we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. We'll just do a meet and greet in the morning, and then we won't do the clinic. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. But I had another camp in Kansas City the next day. So we get back like Thursday night. Friday morning, me and my girlfriend take off to Kansas City. She got to go out there with me, show her what I do a little bit. Picked up a practice out there that night. Then the next day we got to run around Kansas City, went to the mall, walking around, went to Gates Barbecue, smacking. It was great. And next day, meet and greet. And then I drove back to Lincoln, got to the stadium at the new training table 30 minutes before our banquet started. Banquet finishes, watch the UFC fights with the boys, Went to sleep around 1 a.m., woke up at 4:30, dropped my pops off at the airport, and then straight back to Kansas City for a 10 o'clock start for the camp.
What other camps are coming up? Are there any local that you want to talk about?
For local ones, I'll come better prepared next week.
Okay.
I have my calendar all written out, but for sure going to do some local ones. We got the Nebraska team camps that we do every year. Those are going to be coming up here soon, but I'm going to be gone a little bit in late June, July. I got a couple weddings back home to go to, and I always go back and I help Team Idaho with their Fargo camp and go out of Fargo.
It's so good. You're glowing about talking about it because you get to be the version that you thought existed anyway. But to watch your guys, I do want to ask you about Brock Hardy, because Saturday night awards banquet, to have him get honored, and it was a natural standing ovation for Brock Hardy. Who is Brock Hardy, and why does he get the support that he does? I think it's different than any other wrestler on that roster.
Yeah, because Brock is different. You know, he's a fantastic wrestler. He does all the right stuff in the classroom, but like outside of sports, academics, outside of like the stuff that we're almost like required to do, Brock's just a fantastic person.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone should strive to be a little more like Brock Hardy. He lives his life the right way. He's a good dude. He's nice to people. Like he's got his ducks in a row. Brock, he's just all around. He does everything the right way, the way that you should do it.
It was interesting, and I do want to. We'll go to break, but when we come back, I want to go through some of the awards that were presented, and almost as important as the outstanding wrestlers and such, I was intrigued by the other wrestlers, the 11th men, and the workout guys. I want to hear about them because I think they're as much a big part of this and the future of Nebraska wrestling. So it's DP Brock. Ridge Lovett joins us here. Austin Norman, thank you, kind sir, for making sure we get this thing out there. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll talk about banquet night here for Nebraska Wrestling on Takedown Tuesdays.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model, with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
It's the two-fingered wave on a gravel road. It's letting the kids take Dad's truck to prom. It's Friday nights under the lights of a hometown football field. Eustace Body Shop knows small towns. It's where our values are rooted. We treat our people right, and in turn, they treat you, our customer, right. And we give back to our communities. Not much more small town than that. Eustace Body Shop, small town service, big city technology.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. The afternoon high around 67. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, low near 45. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and warm with the high near 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere air seeder during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Take your seeding performance to the next level with John Deere's advanced air seeding technology. Achieve precise seed and fertilizer placement, optimize emergence, and cover more acres with less downtime. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Contact your Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Back to Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker Stu, we see you, bro. We see you. Austin, we'll have Austin change your name in there. Get that done. Austin, before we get back into it with the national champ, let them know about our sponsor.
That would be Stevens & Smith Construction, sponsoring Takedown Tuesdays with Nebraska Wrestling here on The Ticket. Stevens & Smith is an employee-owned company with nearly 250 employees and over 2,000 years of service combined. They lead the industry as a full-service concrete company specializing in residential and commercial foundations and flatwork. Locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City. You can check out Stevens & Smith online at Stevens, STEPHENS, and Smith.com.
From the text line, Stu, Husker Stu asked, he said, first of all, I want to thank Rich for coming to Nebraska. He says, I also want to say that my nephew Boone is your biggest fan. Him and his dad have season tickets right behind your bench.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up.
You know, you do have fans, right? It is a thing that I kind of said that watching y'all in between at the intermission and watching how many of you go and engage and take pictures, it's not always the easiest thing to do, but the fact that y'all do it and you do it with a smile, it's just impressive.
Yeah, sometimes they get honest a little bit and tell us like, "Hey, wait till the end." I'm like, "Hey, the kids are down here right now. I'm not gonna send them away. Like, I'm gonna say what's up. If they have something for me to sign, I'll happily sign it." And yeah, the fan thing, it's gotten after nationals, it's kind of stepped up a little bit.
Barney says, can you please tell Rich how much I appreciate him taking time out of his day to talk to my son and get a quick photo. He posted the picture of you with his son. So
yeah.
You out here doing the work, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're out here doing the work. It is interesting enough that in this thing, we think of the stars, and as we talked about teams, that there are guys behind the scenes who don't always get credit. They don't always get seen. They don't always get varsity night. They'll go work at some they'll wrestle at some tournaments, and that's the exposure and the work that the payoff that they get.
Yep.
But there are folks who at Saturday's awards banquet, I was impressed by the young people, first of all, and how they engaged with all the people who were there. But I want to ask you about it. There were two 11th men. And I want to ask you about them because I would imagine that they've not only put in the work, but that they're also a big part of the Husker future.
Yeah. So there's that's one of the tough things about wrestling is we have 30 guys on the team, but only 10 get to compete on match nights. Right. But it takes so much more than just the 10 dudes that are out there scrapping to make this thing go. And yeah, Blake Cushing, Ethan DeLeon, right? So when we go on the road, we get to take a couple extra guys with us, and those two are always with us. Those two always come with us. They're kind of they're at those weights where they can kind of wrestle with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Cushing at 41, he can wrestle with the 25 pounders. He's a little big. Usually we'll bring my boy AK with to wrestle with Smooth, but he can wrestle with Van D, Brock, me, Trelly. Right, once you get up to 65, they more go to DeLeon. DeLeon will wrestle with Toph, Len, Silas, Camden, and Harley's a little big for him, but Harley usually work out with Swerve or something. But those dudes are putting in work when we're on the road, right? Like just like Coach Snyder was saying when he was handing out those awards, like they're an extension of the coaching staff almost when we're on the road doing that stuff. Especially like with tournaments where you're gonna have more than one match, you got to make sure that you're eating after your matches. You can't be holding your weight down. We'll worry about that later. And those are the dudes that's gonna help you get the weight off, right? So it's like Snyder will tell him, be like, hey, when Brock's done, make sure he eats something. Make sure Ridge warms up, right? When he's done, see if Charlie's good, see what he needs. After the match, hey, make sure Charlie gets a cool down. Make sure this guy does this. Make sure this guy does this, right? Because the coaches, they don't have enough time to focus on what we're doing in between and after, before matches, because they're out there on the mat all day.
You have 10 wrestlers going, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time.
Exactly, right? They're busy doing all their stuff. So having those guys with us to, sometimes after the match, I just want to go, like, I was just in a heater. I want to go back and lay down on the air matches, but oh my goodness, like, here, hand me a Gatorade. But you end up running around
the corridor the entire time.
Yeah, a little bit of that too.
So what's the math for you that after a match, you'll go stretch, you'll go get some more cardio in? What are you trying to accomplish?
Just slow my heart rate down, right? Because when we're out there, you get real excited, real jittery, and then adrenaline's super high, and you don't want the adrenaline dump. You don't want to just die after your match, lay there. Oh, wow, that was super hard. So it's like, go jog, skip, do shuffles, just little things that you would do in your warm-up right when you're getting started.
Yeah.
Just do some of that after your match. If you give 10, 15 minutes, right, then in your next match, you're going to feel way better.
And is that part of the weight management as well?
Absolutely.
Is there a number depending on how much time if you put 7 full minutes on the mat or you were out there for 45 seconds, does it change how you engage afterwards?
No, you should just try to keep everything the same. But with the weight management, like right after your second match, your cool down is going to be extended. It's not going to be so much as a cool down as a continuation of a workout.
Okay.
Right. You get your warm up out there on the mat. Now it's time to get some of that weight off. So boom, right when you get off, shorts, sweatpants on, hoodie, jacket, whatever you got, put that on, and then just keep it rolling. Right?
And then
the hardest part is just breaking the sweat. Once your sweat's broke, you just got to keep it moving, and then that's just water weight running off.
I mean, the number you said your walk around weight. That's a big cut, Rich. Yeah. That's a big cut. What's the number for you where you go, you know what, this is manageable a week out. This is difficult a week out.
Yeah, we try to stay within 5%. So for me, that would be around 156. Like that's where I want to live.
Okay.
Right. And to get to that during season, that's a lifestyle change.
Okay.
Right. Cutting out all the junk food, making sure, but with TT makes it real easy. You have all your options right there. But out of season, I'm walking around between 65 and 70 ish.
Okay.
You can get down, but a week out, if I'm within 10, we're in real good shape.
So within 3 days, 72 hours, 48 hours, 24 hours, where you should be and what the magic number should be.
Yeah, especially going through the season with we only had one Friday, Sunday match this year. But like with that stuff, you start to gauge where you are, what I like to come in at, how much I'm losing in these workouts. Like for me, it was if I was below 56, we're in good shape. As long as like I'm less than 7, if I was in the 6-ish range, that was like my day before number. Because get a good hard workout, I'm gonna lose 4.5, real hard 5 pounds. Right. Then I can kind of put some more fluids in, and we always get a workout in before weigh-ins. That's like our main warm up.
Is that for everybody? So everybody has a different number that kind of leans in their space, and they like to go about it differently. Because not everybody's eating the same diet. Not everybody's working at it. And Caleb will announce from the top of the mountain that he has the toughest weight cut in the entire world.
Man, maybe that boy Smooth cut some weight. He was pulling some weight this year, but he does it the right way. You know, this is one thing with like younger guys that they have a hard time with is staying hydrated. It kind of seems counterintuitive because I want to lose his water
I'm
weight.
going to drop water weight.
But if you're not putting water in, your body's not going to let the water go. Like when I was cutting to 33 my freshman year, I wasn't always doing it the right way. Sometimes you can only do it the right way for so long until it's like, okay, now you just got to be a tough man and get the weight off. But Smooth did a really good job this year. You know, he was putting in the water on the days, like if we didn't have a competition for a week, he was drinking almost a gallon of water a day. So then when it was time for that water to come off and he could start limiting his water a little more, you'll do a half gallon, 2 pounds kind of dealy. His body, he was hydrated still, so his body could keep flushing out all that water.
And then after weigh-in, how much time between weigh-in and match, and what are you consuming?
Yeah, so that depends on what weight you're at. So Caleb was always first. 25 pounder. He's our starter. So for him, it'd be 2 hours. From the time that he steps on the scale to the time that he steps on the mat will be 2 hours. For me at 149, you know, I have 4 matches or 3 matches before me.
Yeah.
And then if it's on Big Ten, we have a couple breaks here and there. So like that's all stuff that you got to like learn how to do throughout the year. Because for Tofi being at 65, he's going to be the 6th match. So there's going to be a 12-minute break right before his match. For me, it's only a 2-minute break for me and Brock. So, you know, I would usually have about 2.5 hours, 2 minutes, 45 minutes, because Caleb's probably going to go into overtime. He seems to like that stuff. But, you know, it all depends on the match time. But I usually have right around 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I mean, it's interesting that in a year where you had 8 All-Americans and all sorts of success, and each one is the story, and you could have given any one of the awards to any one of the wrestlers on the roster, but Tofi getting most improved. Tell me what that young man did and what he went through to be the most improved Husker.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the season, Tofi wasn't in the starting lineup. It was my boy Bubba Wilson, who also has a fight coming up. So if you're going to be in Lincoln at the beginning of May
3rd, Pinnacle Bank Arena,
PBA, my boy Bubba Wilson, the Manhattan Menace, gonna be out there putting the gloves on. But you know,
so funny. The Manhattan Menace.
Man, don't mess with the boys from Manhattan.
Oh man,
Bubba's dangerous.
Bubba is about the pain. He said he's ready to hurt somebody. So
he likes it. I mean, he can do the punching in the face. I'm cool on that. I'll keep wrestling. But yeah, Toph with most improved. So at the beginning of the year wasn't in the lineup. You know, he was pulling a bunch. Tofi was pulling a bunch of weight too. That boy was cutting some weight. And you know, part of it is learning to live the right way. Greasy was telling the funny story about him showing up to the airport without his ID. It's tough to get on the plane if you don't have your stuff with you. So, you know, so he was learning on the mat and off the mat. But you know, Tofi showed some heart, because improving in the sport of wrestling while focusing on pulling your weight down and learning how to do that part of it as well is tough to do. Like my first year at 133, development didn't happen as much as it did the next year because I was so focused on my weight cut. Right. So Tofi had a lot of stuff going on, getting his weight down, making sure he's good, as well as trying to break into the lineup. Right. And we all knew how good Tofi was. I didn't know he was that good.
He seemed to think that he knew his time was coming. He may have been a little surprised about how quickly it came together.
Yeah.
But he's not surprised by what it took to get there.
Yeah. And a big part of it is Tofi's just a competitor, you know, and that's something that you can't teach, which, you know, him being most improved, yes, his wrestling skills did get better, but a big part of it, I think, is that Tofi just wasn't going to be denied. He's tough, he's gritty, and he really wants to win. And that's those three things. That's something that you can't like teach someone. That's something that they either have or they don't. Right. And that boy Tofi, he's got it.
Yeah. I mean, to go through Bubba and the weight classes around Bubba. So, you know, in some cases you can go, well, you know what? Bubba's a NCAA qualifier, but whoops. There are NCAA qualifiers all up and down the lineup, and choosing who your target is, and then to say, I'm really committed to work past you or through you. That's pretty remarkable because Bubba's the dude.
He is.
He's a dude. So Tofi in the space, what does he do? What's his best thing?
I think that he's underrated on top. His top game is good. Tofi's got turns. He puts people on their back, and his scramble ability is also, he does a really good job.
Like he finishes. And you, Brock, and Tofi tend to make moves at end of clock. And I don't know if it's a full scramble, but edge of mat work, pretty stellar, especially for a young guy.
Yeah, and Tofi, his end of match, you know, that was when it really like clicked for me in nationals. That like, oh yeah, we're doing this. We're doing this.
Well, there's a moment where you were walking through and you looked up at the scoreboard, and on the scoreboard it had the team standings, and at that particular moment, Nebraska was sitting at 1, and this is not the beginning of the tournament.
No,
so
that was midway, like 3/4 of the way through day 2.
Yeah, and the acknowledgement of you sighed and put your head down, like, okay, boys. You know, and all I could think was the guy from Caddyshack, the caddy from Caddyshack going, oh, I guess we're playing for keeps now. We're in this thing. Time to battle.
Yeah, that was when I started talking to the media guys. That was when I started yelling at them, because with the way the tournament's set up is every school pretty much has like a little section, and our section was on the corner right above the head table.
Yep.
So like one of the head flow guys was walking by, and you know, Flo hasn't always been a huge Nebraska fan. They pick against us a lot. When there's head-to-head matchups, they don't tend to choose the Nebraska guys to win. And he was down there. I was yelling. I'm like, hey. He looked up. I was like, you like that? You like that, huh?
The projected Nebraska for 60 points. 60 points and a 5th place. And yeah, they were in the media room. Humble pie was being served fresh, courtesy
like,
of the Nebraska wrestlers.
You guys just keep winning. He looked up. He was like, "You keep winning." I was like, "We can't lose, bro. Hey, there's still room on the bandwagon if you want to jump on."
They jumped on. They jumped. It was rather enjoyable. We'll throw it a break when we come back. I do want to talk about Cam, because the young man, Big Papa Cam, came through, and watching him evolve from the young deer-legged freshman to a guy that at a very difficult weight class found his way to success and All-American status. So National Champion Ridge, love it, here on Takedown Tuesdays on the Ticket.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans, begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277, or judsonirrigation.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com, because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402 421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Back to Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment before we hand it over to teammates. Demo and Ash, got a special guest will take you up till 6 o'clock. Got a special night here at Ticket. I also know for a fact that the folks from Raising Cane's are going to take care of the women's bowling team, number 3 in the country. So they're going to come down and feed them. They've also offered to do this next week for the wrestling team. You get as many of the guys down here. Raising Cane's is going to feed y'all up.
Heck yeah.
So, we'll get to do that. We were talking in the break. Austin, let them know one more time about our sponsors before we get back to Ridge.
Certainly. That is Stevenson Smith Construction, who sponsors Takedown Tuesday with Husker Wrestling. Stevenson Smith Construction is an employee-owned company, nearly 250 employees with over 2,000 years of service combined. They've been leading the industry as a full-service concrete company specializing in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. They've got locations here in Lincoln as well as Omaha and Kansas City. Check them out online at Stevens, STEPHENS, and Smith.com.
From the text line, and I do want to share it because I thought it was interesting, Kurt, from Northern Kentucky. He said, want to congratulate Ridge and all the other Husker Wrestling team members. I was so happy for all of them for their accomplishment. I met Ridge's mom last year at work at the beginning of the season. Look forward to speaking with her anytime I saw her and speak to her so proudly of Ridge. Congrats again. So,
well, thank you.
Well done. Appreciate you, Kurt. It is, we were talking during the break because some of the stories, yes, the national champions get, and deservedly so, as much of the shine and the hype and the light. But some of the greatest advancements, the greatest journeys are from people who start. I don't know of how difficult it is, and maybe you can share how difficult it is as a true freshman to come in and start. And then at 197 to face just the accumulation of every grown dude at 197. Cam McDaniel did a thing this year in becoming an All-American that I think might be the most impressive progression from where he started the season to where he finished to become an All-American.
Yeah. First of all, Cam's a dog. He's a dog. And I went through something similar. So at the beginning of the year, Cam, he was losing some tough ones, losing some tight ones. And, you know, his record at one point wasn't great. It was close to 500.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was reading an article, Dylan Gunther, you know, good dude. He's always up in the room. He does a lot of that for us. And I didn't know how his competition was at that point in the season, because when you're wrestling, a lot of it, you're focused on yourself. You don't get to see a lot of your teammates' matches. I'm not on there looking through everyone that they're wrestling.
Right.
But Cam, we were like a month and a half into the season. He had 10 losses, and all 10 were to kids inside the top 10. Right. My freshman year, when I was at 33, I went on a 6-match losing streak. And to start that streak off, first match that I lost was to Seth Gross, he was national champ, ranked number 1 at the weight. Then we come back to Lincoln, and congratulations, you just lost to number 1. This week you get number 2, Roman Bravo Young, 2-time national champ for Penn State. So here you go. Now you got him. Next week, going to Carver Hawkeye Arena. Congratulations. You just lost to number 1, number 2. Here's number 3. You get Austin DeSanto. Right. So I've been through it. Wrestling in the Big Ten, it's a gauntlet. You know, especially we go to Vegas, the toughest, I'd say it's probably the 3rd toughest tournament in the country every single year, right behind Nationals and Big Tens. Right. You go out there. Now you got Oklahoma State. You got all these other tough conference
Virginia
teams.
Tech's out there.
Tech's out there.
Yeah.
Right. You have teams that are placing in the top 10 at Nationals, and they're all at this tournament. So, you know, Cam, he had to do it the hard way. He had to go in there, take his lumps. Welcome to the Big Ten. He had some of those moments. And, you know, at the end of the year, he progressed a lot, and he won the Peyton Robb Courage Award. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because a couple years ago when Nationals were in Tulsa, Peyton Robb didn't get to wrestle his placings match. His leg was super swollen. They didn't totally know what was going on. And that night he went to the hospital, and he had a strep infection in his calf. And then, you know, his body wasn't taking the antibiotics, came back to Lincoln, was in the hospital for, I think, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe. And that progressed into necrotizing fasciitis. So he had a flesh-eating disease in his calf. They had to cut him open pretty good, both sides of his calf, took out a big chunk, had to cut some of his calf muscle out, had to do skin grafts, you know. And then P-Rob came back after 2-3 months of recovery and finished as an All-American once again. So, you know, that, like, these are the dudes that we have on our team, and that's why he's the namesake for that award, the Peyton Robb Courage Award. And Cam this year, he got it because Tervel was talking about it when he was handing it out. He's like, you know, like, there wasn't a lot of, like, out of wrestling stuff, but taking your lumps, going in there, not having the resume that the kids you're wrestling have. These dudes, like we were just talking about during the break, like at 197, you're wrestling. Cam's 19, weighs about 205 pounds. He's not a big weight cutter. Nationals, he was underweight. Snyder, how's your weight? He's like, I'm 1.5 pounds under. He's like, go eat a sandwich, bro. Go eat something. Right. And he's wrestling dudes who are 23, 24, 25, who have been 197 their whole career. This kid's cutting down from 220. And these are big dudes. Like if they weren't wrestling, they could have went and played football. Probably would have been rather successful. But just being able to stay dedicated to the grind after every lump, like high five, give him a hug, like, hey, bro, like it's gonna get better. I promise it gets better. I know it doesn't feel like it. You're right. Like every kid you wrestle is a superstar, but it's gonna get better. And Cam was one of those guys at the end of practice every day. He was in there running sprints after practice, working on different techniques with Tervel, working through different things, watching his matches, just doing the right things to try to progress. I think that he also could have won the most improved award.
Yeah.
Him and Tofi were right there neck and neck for it.
Yeah, it was just that way that, the most outstanding Husker could have gone in several different places. And again, congratulations to you, to Charlie, for incredible years. Great trophies, by the way.
Right? Those are sick.
Those are great trophies. Let folks know how to reach you on social media in case they want to book you to speak to their groups or at their school.
Yeah, you can get at me on X or Instagram at Ridge Love It. And right now, Nebraska Wrestling. So with the 1890, you can go on and donate at 1890, or I think it might be NEB NIL. You can donate on there as well. And we have a goal to raise $200,000 to, take care of our All-Americans, retain. Poachers are out there trying to take some of our teammates.
Trying to get some of the coaches too.
Trying to get some of the coaches too. So anything helps with that. So we're running that right now after our postseason. Every donation will be matched up to $200,000. As of last night, we were at 25% of our goal. So if we can keep that pushing, that'd be great. But yeah, you can get at me on Instagram, X at Ridge Love It, and I will also have national championship T-shirts coming out in the next day or so. So I'll post the link on there.
Yeah, we need to know. We need to know. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
We'll throw it over to teammates. We'll do it again next week. I ain't letting you go, man. We got you on this spot. We need to have your voice. Teammates, Tuesdays, Demo and Ash coming up here on the Ticket.
Yes, sir.